What did the Rebbe mean when he said, open your eyes and see Mashiach? Now, I'll tell you why we didn't ask. Because you're afraid to get very angry and tell us, I've been talking for 40 years, you haven't heard anything I said, how come, I mean, we're afraid of being like, what do you mean you don't understand what I'm talking about?
I promise I won't do that.
But, okay. What, to the best you can understand, how would you explain it to us?
Okay. Number one, when the Rebbe made statements about any subject in the world, it was never speculation, it was never disconnected from immediate reality. For example, when the previous Rebbe said, we are going through the birth pangs of Mashiach, was that a prediction? Was that a nevuah? What was that? It was simply an explanation of current events. People saw a Holocaust and they said, what in the world is this? So the Rebbe said, this is the birth pangs of Mashiach. It was not a prediction, it was not a nevuah. It was an explanation. When the Rebbe said, open your eyes and see Mashiach, what he meant to say was, there are events happening in the world that can only be explained by the closeness of Mashiach. Like, the Rebbe pointed out, the collapse of communism. So there were messianic developments that if you opened your eyes, you would see it. So the Rebbe wasn't making predictions, and it wasn't a nevuah, and it wasn't mysticism. It was current events. Do you understand what your eye is seeing? You're seeing something Mashiachic. Now, the Rebbe didn't say that about the Six-Day War. The Rebbe spoke endlessly about the miracle of it and the magnificence but he never said it was Mashiach, because it wasn't. It was simply another miracle of Jewish survival in Golus. We've had many such miracles. So it was another Hanukkah story. It was another Purim story. The few beat up the many. It's not Mashiach. But the collapse of communism, Mashiach. So open your eyes and see what's Mashiach-dik and what's more Golus. The problem is, of course, we saw the collapse of communism. We saw them take down the Berlin Wall. We saw Yiddishkeit come out of Golus. And then we saw a lot of bad stuff. So we should have said to the Rebbe, it's nice, but not good enough. That's the simple pshat. I mean, the simple. And to say the Rebbe was giving a prophecy, a nevuah, that wasn't the Rebbe's style.
I'm curious about the musical aspect. You mentioned when the Mashiach comes, one of the first things that will happen, we'll stop singing that song. I'm curious about the other song that has been sung, at least since the 80s, probably earlier. Yechi Adonenu, Morenu Rabbeinu, HaMelech HaMashiach, Olam Va'ed. Not Mashiach for our generation. When people sing that song, we can understand that we would say they never meant that it referred to Rabbi Menachem Schneerson. Or now, would you say that anybody who thinks that should be told that they're wrong in thinking that? Thank you.
The Rebbe said, if you sing that song, I'm going to walk out. And you know what happened? They sang it again. I can't get over that. That's like... No, in fact, the Rebbe said, I should walk out, and I'm not going to walk out because it's not going to help anyway. And sure enough, next week, they sang it again. So, it's not a happy development. You come to the microphone.
You can speak up. After so many years, you can speak up. Firstly, I should back, and I would say, just
for whatever it's worth, personally I agree with, I think, at least 80% of what you said. To set the record straight, when was that episode that happened, and what was the song that was sung? Just for the sake of accuracy for the record.
It was an Israeli version of the Rebbe being Mashiach.
So it wasn't the song of Yechia Adonai.
No, it was the suggestion that the Rebbe is Mashiach.
Okay.
So the Rebbe said, I'm going to walk out because I object to this. The Rebbe said many times, this is turning people away from Hasidus, and we're not allowed to do
He
it.
said this then?
I think so.
No. It was Parshas Noach Tavshin Nun Beis. The Rebbe did not say, he said that he would walk out, and it was that song that they sung, and it's the same song that was sung on Shabbos Bereishis Tavshin Mem Hey, but never did the Rebbe stop or protest the singing of Yechia Adonai Mereinu Rabbeinu Melech HaMashiach Le'olam V'ed, just for the sake of accuracy. A couple of questions, if you allow me, let me ask the 4 questions, then you could,
Try to remember them.
yeah. You mentioned that the Rebbe would never refer to himself by quoting that Menachem Shemoi. How do you explain the Rebbe's footnote that 770, the address is Begematria, Beis Moshiach? That's one. Another one, Parshas Mishpatim, Tavshin Nun Aleph, the Rebbe said the Mashiach has already been appointed, which I understand to be different than the Mashiach of every generation, which traditionally we of course have. He's already been appointed, and all that is lacking now is Kabbalas Malchusoi Al Yidei Ha'am, the acceptance of his sovereignty through the people. And one more point, on Parshas Mishpatim, Tavshin Nun Beis, which I have over here, excerpts of edited Sichas of the Rebbe, Suras HaGeulah. There the Rebbe says that the Rashi Tevis, the acronym of the word Miyad, which he uses so often, referring to Mashiach coming, quoting from the Rambam and other sources, that it's going to be immediate, Miyad. So at this point, the Rebbe says that the Rashi Tevis of Miyad refers to the 3 periods, the 3 eras of the leadership of, as the Rebbe always says, the Rebbe der Shver Nesidereinu, my father-in-law, referring to the Rebbe Rayatz, Ve'al Seder HaKirva Eleinu, and in order of closeness to us. Mem stands for Moshiach, in parentheses, Menachem Shemoi. The Yud stands for Yosef Yitzchak, the 2 names of his father-in-law, his predecessor. Dalet stands for Doiv Ber, as the Rebbe says, the 2nd name of the Rebbe before that, the Rebbe Rashab. And then the Rebbe goes on and says, in all the Pirushim of Mamish, Mem, Shin.
The Rebbe says Miyad stands for Moshiach and the Frierdiker Rebbe and his father. And that shows what? Nothing. That after the Frierdiker Rebbe, Moshiach comes. Or should come. All of these things, if you want to use a little imagination, yeah, you can translate it to mean the Rebbe. But to say that that's what the Rebbe said, no, he didn't. So all of these things, they're tantalizing little hints that can be, but anybody who says the Rebbe claimed to be Mashiach is way out of line. No matter how much we want to believe that he's Mashiach, to say that he said it, that's blasphemous. Because the Rebbe was horrified by that for 40 years. So people come along and say, yes, for 40 years he objected, but then something changed. What changed? He said that the word miyad, or he said other little hints that this is how you pronounce yourself Mashiach. This is how you announce that Mashiach is here? By dropping a little footnote that says miyad? Come on. In fact, I was talking to Lahavdil. I was talking to a missionary, a Christian missionary. He was Jewish, Avtzalachas. But he had all the lines, all the things, all the arguments. So he said, tell me, what did Yoshke do that made the Jews reject him? What did he do? It's nice when they're a little defensive at least, you know? Like maybe he did something? What did he do? I said, nothing. Nothing he did and nothing he said turned Jews off. What turned Jews off was when he was born and people said he is Moshiach because of the stars. We got turned off by that. What are we, playing little games? Well, the star, it was shining, so he must be Moshiach. That's how you recognize Moshiach. The people argue that the Rebbe said that the Frierdiker Rebbe was Moshiach. So there, even after the Frierdiker Rebbe passed away. So we see from this you can... Did the Rebbe say that the previous Rebbe was Melech HaMashiach? That's absurd. Why? Because if the Rebbe really felt back in the 30s, in the 50s, that the Frierdiker Rebbe was Mashiach, you would never hear the end of it. If he really thought this is Melech HaMashiach, you wouldn't have tefillin campaigns. You would have Mashiach campaigns. Mashiach is here and nobody knows it. He would spend his days and nights. He mentions it twice or 3 times and that's it. What kind of business is this? And then the contradictions. Oh, the Rebbe said that the Frierdiker Rebbe is Melech HaMashiach. Yeah, but then he also said that after the Frierdiker Rebbe, then comes Mashiach. Mashiach of the generation. That's kosher. The Rebbe never objected to that. But Melech HaMashiach? Where do you see Melech HaMashiach? We're in such a miserable golus. Worse now than before. Israel would never have spoken publicly about giving away Yerushalayim. Now they do. So where? What are we seeing? Yeah.
I was just curious how you would address the issue that Melech Moshiach came out from someone that's dead. It said there's a Gemara, I believe, that says that.
Right. Now we get into a whole new can of worms. Once we decide that the Rebbe is Mashiach, then when the Rebbe passes away, we got a big problem. So now we develop all sorts of new emunah systems. One emunah system says the Rebbe didn't pass away. Oh, but he did. No, I don't believe he did. So now we've got a new emunah. Where did we get this emunah from? It fits. It suits the purpose. So we have a new thing to believe now. And of course, the belief that the Rebbe is Mashiach is responsible for that kind of thinking. Where people will not write the Rebbe's name because they don't want to have to write Zatzal after it. Come on, this is it's very not nice. The Rebbe deserves better. So, if we start some guy actually said to me, he said, "Why can't you believe that there was no Histalkos and the Rebbe didn't pass away? Why can't you believe that?" Why can't you believe? Since when do we do that? Hey, maybe we can believe this. Maybe we can believe that. This is not kosher. There are things we're supposed to believe. Everything else is not kosher. There are laws to emunah. So then people run around saying shlita. Very nice. You're a big chassid. I'm very impressed. It's not nice. It's not nice. Again, the Rebbe deserves better. So, for all of the above reasons, and primarily because we don't need to do this. There's no need for this. It doesn't make the world any better. It doesn't make anyone better. We don't need this. The main thing is, when the Rebbe said not to say this, he gave a reason. He said because it turns people away from studying Hasidus. Now, if you could demonstrate that something has changed, and today, when we tell the world that the Rebbe is Moshiach, it doesn't turn them away from studying Hasidus, then I would say, maybe you're onto something. The fact is, it's turning people away terribly. So the reason the Rebbe gave is still valid. So how can you ignore it? Yeah.
I wanted to thank you for coming. I owe you personally a tremendous support to tell. I studied your base comments, so I'm sort of one of your tongue. My question for you is more tachlis. Has to do with, I've heard said through the years that the Rebbe said that he had done everything that he could do and the rest was up to us. And I was wondering if you could just elucidate that a little bit. And also these arguments, and I'm actually one of the people that you were talking about. I never knew that the Rebbe actually said that it turns people away. I've always had kind of a wall between myself and Chabad, and I've always I felt very close to the Rebbe. But as these developments took place over the years, I kind of distanced myself from Chabad, and it's been a very painful thing because I felt myself in tears this evening listening to you talk, and all the things that I thought over the years was very enlightening to me and kind of opened my heart, knowing that when I sat in your classes 20 years ago that I wasn't imagining things, the things that I was learning, and how beautiful and amazing they were, and that but particularly what turns me away is that not just what these discussions, but also particularly after the was niftar, that I'm a convert from Christianity, and so that made me feel particularly uncomfortable. And I don't want to cause machloket within the community, so I tend not to ask people in Chabad these questions because I know that they're very charged. but that one idea of, I think is very tactless for everybody, since we've seen today, this minute, don't have the Rebbe or Mashiach. What is it that's left for us to do that he had done everything that he could do? What was everything that he could do, and what do we need to do?
Okay. I want to make one thing very, very clear. I have no idea. And I can tell you this with absolute certainty. I have no idea. I have no idea what the Rebbe meant when he said, I've done everything I can do. I have no idea what that means. Particularly since after he said that, he continued to work as hard as ever and didn't wait to see what we do. So I have no idea what the Rebbe meant by that. I have no idea what we should be expecting. I have no idea what to make of the condition that we're in without a Rebbe. I have no idea. But it's not fashionable anymore to say I don't know. You know why? Why say you don't know when you can make up an idea that answers the question? What's wrong with believing that the Rebbe never passed away? What's wrong with believing that Mashiach can come from the dead? What's wrong with... I don't know. I don't know. And the truth is, none of us know. We don't know. Mashiach is as mysterious as ever. For a while, we thought we had it. The Rebbe was doing his thing, it was going along wonderfully, it looked like the real thing. Now it's mysterious again. God is up to his funny ways again. So I don't know. And saying I don't know is not humility. I just don't know. And when you don't know, you have to say, I don't know. So what did the Rebbe mean when he said, miyad? What did he mean when he said, I don't know? To guess and to say he meant himself, and he meant that he's Mashiach, but he was upset when you said he was Mashiach, but then the times changed, and now we can say it, we can sing it, we can dance it. I don't know. I don't know. It's turning people away from Chassidus. And the one thing I know for sure is that's not our job. It is not our job to turn people away from Chassidus, it's our job to bring people into Chassidus. That's for sure. Beyond that, we're in big trouble. We're in a big mess. And there's no way around that. And it's not embarrassing to say I don't know, because we're talking about mysterious subjects. So if somebody says to me, so how come Mashiach hasn't come yet? Right. You expect me to answer that question? So how come the Rebbe passed away and there's no Rebbe? Oh, I'll tell you. It's because I got it all figured out. I don't know. I don't know. And when we don't know, then we have to become even more careful and devoted to what we do know. That's when you really have to hold on to the definites, because the maybes can destroy us. So no more guessing, no more philosophizing, no more theorizing. Did the Rebbe mean this or did the Rebbe mean that? If we're not sure what he meant, move on. Go to what you know for sure. And what we know for sure is that spreading Hasidus brings Mashiach. We don't know of any other way. So people who say, oh, the Rebbe said that we should bring Mashiach. Oh, there's some other way? Not through tzedakah? Not through spreading Hasidus? Not through tshuva? There is no other way. So let's go back to the definites, to the vadais, and stop speculating and stop trying to be a chacham and interpret what the Rebbe meant. The Rebbe was very clear about what he meant. And if he wanted to say he was Mashiach, he was not bashful. He would have said it. He didn't say it. And now, the Rebbe said, I've done everything I could, now it's up to you. At the time, we had no idea what he was talking about. But now who is it up to? Maybe that's what he meant. Maybe he meant there's going to come a time when you're going to have to do it on your own. Maybe. But that's speculation. The fact is, what is for sure is that we have to do it. Whether that's what he meant, I don't know. I don't write commentary on the Rebbe's sichos. So let's stick to what's for sure. If you bring another Jew to study Hasidus, you've done the right thing. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming to speak to us. We've been discussing, trying to understand whether the Rebbe said he was Mashiach. So I want to turn the question around. Given that there was so much hope, as you said, that everyone was hoping, it looked likely, given that it was clear that many people thought or expected or would come to expect, why did the Rebbe not clearly say, just get up and say to the world, I am not Melech Mashiach, period? And in that case, eliminate all our doubts. And also, I'm trying to understand exactly what you're saying, because I've heard you say two things. One is that it wasn't. The Mashiach isn't or doesn't appear. And the other is that it's a tactical error to think so, because it distances people from Hasidus.
Get closer to the mic.
That it's a tactical error to suggest so publicly, but maybe if it was tactically beneficial, then maybe we should suggest, oh, it isn't what really matters, what the underlying state of affairs is.
It's a fair question. Why didn't the Rebbe simply get up and say, I am not Mashiach. If elected, I will not serve. If nominated, I will not run. I don't know. I don't know why the Rebbe did or didn't, but I can tell you this. When President Nixon got up and said, "I am not a crook," everyone knew he was a crook. For the Rebbe to get up and say, "I am not Mashiach," is out of line. Did the Rebbe make it very clear? He made it very clear. There was a magazine that wanted to print an article about the Rebbe being Mashiach. The Rebbe said, "If you print it, I'm closing down the magazine." Somebody wanted to give out a book that suggested that the Rebbe is Mashiach, and the Rebbe said, "Will you stop carrying on a war with me? I told you not to do it." When they sang it, the Rebbe said, "I'm going to get up and walk out." Now, the fact that there were times when he didn't object, that doesn't prove anything other than the fact that the Rebbe was a Rebbe. And he wasn't going to become a puppet that every time you say this, he's going to say that. Particularly since he said himself, it's not going to help anyway. You got it into your head that you're going to force me to be Mashiach, and nothing I say. If I say no, you'll just try harder. So the Rebbe was not going to be played with. Oh, today he didn't object, let's sing it again tomorrow, see what come on. Particularly, not every occasion allowed that kind of conversation. For example, if the Farbrengen was on television, or even broadcast on radio, the Rebbe was not going to raise the issue. On Shabbos, when there's no microphone, the Rebbe would scream about it. But not every Shabbos, because some Shabbosim, they were guests who didn't need to get involved in this, so the Rebbe would not say it. So, just for practical reasons. Now, the fact that the Rebbe said it distances people from Chassidus, that shows how the Rebbe could not even, in concept, relate to himself being Mashiach, even to the degree of saying, "I'm not." So his objection was not "I am" or "I'm not." His objection was, is this good for Judaism or is this bad for Judaism? And it's bad for Judaism. That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
That's horrible. So when we see where it's leading, when we see that a certain idea is causing hatred, it's causing fights, it's causing neglect of the Rebbe, it's causing violation of the Rebbe's instructions, something's wrong. Thank you very much. Gute Nacht.
Just a couple of
One second.
announcements.
When I was telling people Mashiach is coming, somebody said to me, "You know, if he doesn't come, I'm going to be very upset." I said, "If he doesn't come, you better be upset, but not at me. He doesn't come, you're angry at me? You're going to be angry at him. He's late." So the solution to all of this is, he should come already and stop making trouble. He's supposed to redeem us. Gute Nacht.
Thank you, I appreciate it.